Hi, I'm Lydia and welcome to my channel. This has definitely been something I have been debating doing for a long time. I did try and do something back in lockdown, but it just didn't work. So we are back. Welcome to my channel. So I thought I would start off by doing the newbie book tag and we'll just go off and do introductions from that. Why did you start this channel? So I've been doing TikTok for most of this past year and I've been really enjoying it, but I found I talk far too much and I am my own editing nightmare because I love a ramble. I love a good proper chit chat. I can talk for England, so I thought why not try some long form. I've been a big BookTube follower for literally maybe 10 years. I used to watch Zoe Reads. I think that's what her handle's called. Sadly she doesn't do BookTube anymore, but she really got me into reading again back in my teens. And here I follow Sarah Corelli, Hayley Pham, Destiny Sidwell. I really love them, and also Rachel Catherine. I love watching their videos and finding new books and watching kind of bookish content, and I just thought why not take the chance, why not start my own channel? So yes, that's kind of why I started my channel. I just thought it'd be fun, I thought it'd be exciting. I just love all things books, and I also just love kind of general YouTube content, long slow vlogs, all of that lot. So I kind of look and intend to kind of incorporate both of them into my channel. It's all going to be a work in progress. We're going to see what works, what doesn't work, and we'll just run with it. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? I like just doing fun reading vlogs. I like the idea of kind of reading things together, and in the new year I'm going to start Throne of Glass, and I thought that would be a really fun kind of way to track my reading experience with the series. Also, I'm such an all-round reader, and that is not a brag. But I kind of love most genres. I love a thriller, I love a cozy romance, I love a bit of fantasy, I love some non-fiction, so I feel like I have quite a diverse reading palette, so I really enjoy reading different genres. I feel that's why my friends come to me for different reading suggestions, because I literally will read everything and anything, which sometimes I think is to my detriment because my TBR is literally hundreds of books. This is just a nice display bookshelf. I have 3 bookshelves and a lot of damage is done. Fun things, I feel I just love having a good chit chat about books, about anything, so you'll certainly see a lot of that. And also yeah, I just love reading challenges and kind of just taking you along the journey of reading, and hopefully if it encourages someone else to pick up a book and they enjoy it or don't enjoy it, just as long as you've picked up a book, see, that would just make me happy. What are you most excited about for this channel? I just can't wait to have a good natter, to build up a good community of people who also love books, and just be able to I love being able to track what I have been reading and being able to look back on what I thought of different books and stuff, because there are some books in life that will always stick with you, and then there's other books and you're I can't remember why I rated that 4-star. I can't remember what that book was about. Maybe it shouldn't have been rated a 4-star in the first place, but you know, I like looking back. I'm very nostalgic. I'm a very nostalgic person. I'm very sentimental, and I just thought it would be a nice way to track my reading journey and just be able to look back on all the memories. And also I want it to be kind of a place where other people can come and find suggestions, because that's what I love my the booktubers that I watch do. So yeah, and you know, who doesn't love just being nosy in another person's life? Because I sure do. Number 4, why do you love reading? I love reading for the classic reason that most people love reading. I just love the escapism that reading gives, and I think especially in the world that we live in, fun to just transport yourself to another world, another person's life, a different country, everything, and just be able to like experience something different. I think it's just a really kind of fun concept, and I just really love the escapism. And you know, also like I love reading books about like places that I'm either going to go to or would like to go to, or areas that I just find like exciting. So that's kind of like why I love reading, and I just love the buzz that it gives you, the endorphins of like when you've read a really good book, or like when something happens and it's like really like a, you know, you've just won the battle, or you know, she's just finally like kissed the boy. Like it's all very much like exciting, and sometimes when life can be a bit bland, it just adds something else to it. And you know, it's a nice way of spending your time that isn't just like scrolling on your phone, which, you know, we're all very like privy to do. So I just think it's something that's been really good for my mind and everything like that, because reading is good for you and you develop so much from reading. Empathy is key, guys. So number 5, what book or series got you into reading? Now, I will say that Harry Potter was definitely my introduction into reading. From what I can remember as a child, I used to love the Harry Potter books. Still do. They still hold a dear place in my heart. But I would say like I've gone through phases of reading. So I read quite a bit when I was a child, then didn't read for like maybe 5 years, got it back up when I was a teenager, and really got, I think it was when Zoella did her book club, I really got back into reading, and I literally like bought like all the books on her book club picks that she did with W.H. Smith's, and I literally read them whilst I used to babysit, and that was so good, and I really like found why I enjoyed reading. And I remember, I think it was for, maybe it was for my A-levels or my GCSEs, I basically bought myself a gift for every exam that I did. I wrapped it up, and then I had like a little like number jar, and I'd numbered all the presents, and then basically most of them were books, and then I would read them like in between. Every time that I completed an exam, I would get basically a new book or a new piece of makeup or something like that. It's actually that was a really good thing on me. It's like an advent calendar but for your exams. Who doesn't think that's a smashing idea? So yeah, and then basically then didn't read for like maybe 8 years, and then took it back up again like most during lockdown. Colleen Hoover got me back into it, like back into the reading. Same with like Lisa Jewell, I really loved her books. Frida McFadden. Lockdown I had a lot of spare time, so, and it was really nice weather, so I wanted to go sit out, I wanted to enjoy the outside, and I didn't just want to be sat there on my phone, so I picked up a book, and me and my mum rotated a lot of books during that time, and then that really kind of kickstarted my kind of adult reading career. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed, and like full on now, like I can't see my life without reading. Like I think it would be really boring. Yeah, so they're kind of like the books that kind of got me back into reading. Okay, what questions would you ask your favourite booktubers? I think something I always like to ask people that I know are readers is like, what is your favourite book? What's a book that you remember or like had such an impact on you, whether that was like good, bad, because I just find it so interesting as to like what books like never leave people. Like The Nightingale by Kristen Hannah, I literally like will thoroughly remember that book for the rest of my life. I read it like 3 years ago, and it was just so impactful. I learnt so much from that book about the Second World War, and just her writing, the dynamics between the sisters, like it honestly just really stuck with me. So like it's like books like that where I'm like, ooh, like what's your version of that? What challenges do you think starting a YouTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I think keeping up with editing. I do this with TikTok all the time. I am good at filming stuff, and I film loads of B-roll in my whole entire life, but I always end up slacking on the editing and then just forgetting to edit videos, and then I'll scroll back and be like, I filmed that and I didn't edit it. So I think that will be the most hardest thing, is kind of like the editing part of it, but I do love editing. I think it's quite fun. It's not to say I'm very good at it, but I do find the process of like creating a video very fun. I think this is the hardest bit. Starting is normally the hardest bit, so yeah, I think maybe I've overcome the hardest thing by putting this out there. I don't know, you tell me. 8. When did you start reading? So I think my like earliest well, like my dad always used to read us books when we were younger, and we were like big listeners of like Stephen Fry's version of Harry Potter, like his audio version of Harry Potter. But my earliest memory of reading, I think I must have been like maybe 6 or 7, and we were on holiday in Crete and I was reading the second Harry Potter. I like vividly remember being in the back of the car reading that book. So maybe since like 6 or 7 is like when I probably got back into it, and then I've been reading on and off then for like the next 20 years. Number 9, where do you read? That sounds like an odd question. Where do I read? I read anywhere. Honestly, I will literally read a book anywhere. I read before bed, I read if I'm commuting, I listen to audiobooks at work, and I do believe audiobooks are books, like our class is reading books. Yeah, I think there is nothing better than like getting yourself all cozied up with a book, a good cup of tea and a biscuit, and having a good old time. Like, to me that is just perfect. I'm gonna like tag on like how I read books. So I've just said like obviously I love an audiobook. I think it's a great way of kind of enjoying stories. Some books I think are really elevated by listening to them and them being like slightly produced, and you know, sometimes I'm sat at work and listening to an audiobook is just a really fun way to kind of get through some of the boring tasks. And then also like for cleaning and all of that lot, I just think it's a really perfect, or like long car journeys, I think it really elevates. And this past year I have really gotten into like immersive reading, and it honestly has changed my life. She cut out on me, that was so rude. So as I was saying, how I read my books. Audiobooks, amazing, great things. Would highly recommend. Been getting into immersive reading, love it. I've literally been reading books so quickly because of it, and I just feel like I get so much more like immersed in the world, like so into the world, because I'm reading it and listening to it all at the same time. And then I am a Kindle girl. I do have a Kindle, but I also love a paperback. I go through phases of like reading everything on my Kindle and then everything in paper form. I also have the Kindle app on my phone, and sometimes that's just quite nice if for some reason I'm out and about, like I'm in a waiting room, haven't got my Kindle, haven't got my book, I will just put it on my phone. My friend Caitlin actually suggested ages ago me doing that, and it honestly was the best thing she's ever suggested to me, so thank you, girl. The final question is, what kind of books do you like to read? Now, I kind of hinted on this earlier, but I will read most things. I do love a good romance, I do love a good thriller, but I also really enjoy, I really enjoy fantasy books. I do find that they take me a bit longer to get into, but I do love a good fantasy series, and I think obviously like growing up reading like Harry Potter and Divergent and books like that, they really kind of got me into, you know, into those worlds. Definitely something that I'm trying to kind of delve into a bit more. Yeah, I love all things. I also like love a good memoir. I love learning. I'm such a nosy person. I love learning about other people's lives and the trials and tribulations of life, and you know, seeing how other people have lived. And so yeah, I'm quite a diverse reader, so I'm not going to be someone who is only going to strictly read romance or strictly read thrillers or strictly read fantasy. Like, I will be here, there and everywhere. I'm a chaotic reader. Yeah, that's all of the questions, so I hope I haven't like rambled on and bored you to death. But yeah, so I think that's kind of my little introduction to YouTube, and yeah, I'm hoping to get 1 to 2 videos up a week. We shall see about that, but yeah, I'm really excited for this journey. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, interact as you like, and yes, I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.